Alrighty, so now we are actually going to move on to hi-hats. And although I love the old stack, sometimes I don't like it. And so I'm actually going to get rid of it for now. There we go. This is what we had. Excellent. We are going to create a new channel for the hi-hat. And where are we going to start out? We are going to use the hi-hat. And I'm actually just going to use bank my bank because I want to use the TR909. And I can just type hi-hat, 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 hi-hat. Now this is all well and good. It's kind of close to what we want. But I actually want to, let's just multiply this by 8. I probably want something closer to this, but I am going to do it in a bit of a different fashion. I am going to start here, and I'm going to create some square brackets, and I'm going to multiply this by 2. Now, we are going to use another operator. We're going to use the question mark. And the question mark, when you have it next to a sample, it will either play or not play at a rate of, at a chance or probability of 50%. So if I press enter, we have a very more complex rhythm, but we haven't had to write any of this out as a massive, we haven't had to program this out massively. This is utilizing randomization or 50% probability of playing these hi-hats in a very short method. So I could just get rid of this one and it will always play the 4th beat, but it will remain on the 2nd. So this is one way to create variation in a very simple manner. We'll do some more variation very shortly, but I'm actually going to turn this down a bit because it's kind of not sitting well in the mix for me. So I'm going to adjust this to a gain of 0.8, and that'll bring the volume down a fair bit. I could bring it down to 0.4 so you can hear it a bit better. And I'm actually, what I can do is I can use the scope visualizer to kind of see how loud this gets. So if I set this to 1, you'll probably be able to see this go up in amplitude visually, but I'm going to actually bring it back down to 0.1, tiny, and then back to 0.7 where I think probably better sit in my mix. So scope is a great way to visualize the actual waveform. There's a ton of other visualizers that we will go through in a little bit. But yeah, so this is a great little pattern. Has some variation in it, but let's say I want to create a bit more variation in the sound itself. Rather than just selecting another sample, I want to adjust how long this sample plays for. So I can use the decay function here, and the decay function allows me, or I can shorthand it to dec. This allows me to adjust the length of the sample that is being played. So let's make this really extreme. I want to call this, I want to make it tiny, 0.01, I'm not actually sure what the decay is, whether it's milliseconds or percentage. We can look that up later, but I'm going to make it really small. If I extend this to 0.1 and multiply that by 10, you can see that the sample is playing for a lot longer. If I do 0.01, back to being very small. This is a little too small for me. Let's go with 0.04. I kind of like that. That's a good length for me. But let's say I want to actually vary this over time. So 0.4 can shift up to 0.1 and back to 0.4. What we can do is utilize a wave to go between a range. So I'm going to actually firstly create my range, and that is going to have a minimum value of 0.04 and a maximum value of 0.01. And I'll just call this range. And then I can add any wave shape to this range. So I'm actually going to start with the triangle, also known as tri, and let's see if we can hear the difference. Something's happened with the scope. I've probably broken something. I have. There we go. And actually, let's just bring this down to 0.1 so you can hear it. You can hear it fluctuating, the decay fluctuating between that 0.01 and that 1, up and down, up and down, up and down. The wave shape that it is using is a triangle, as I said. Okay, so let's demonstrate what this actually looks like. We are going to quickly draw this triangle wave, up, down, up, and we are going to show that the minimum value here is 0.04 and the maximum value is 0.1. And so what we're doing is we're cycling through this wave, and we, over time, over each cycle, are going through this progression. So that is what it looks like. Now, let's say, for example, I bring this back down to make it really short. I can utilize the slow function to slow it down more so that the time it takes to get from 0.1 to 0.01 and back is twice as slow. This can be really helpful in building out a bit more of a progression over time, and kind of accentuate what's going on within this pattern, because you can't always hear it within a short period of time. So I'm going to bring this back to 0.04. I can also use ranges like the sine range. One of my favorites is the Perlin range. And instead of us having a sine wave, what we're doing is basically creating noise that goes through a range that doesn't really have any specific pattern. It's kind of creating randomized modulation between a smaller range. So rather than a sine wave or a triangle wave, it's kind of doing something that is creating randomized or noisy signal, but within a given threshold, not necessarily following a pattern, but it's a cool way to make some nice variations. So let's just see how that sounds. You probably won't be able to tell immediately, especially with the ranges that we have here. One other thing is that we could actually, instead of showing the scope, I'm going to actually change this back to triangle for a second. We can change this to the note velocity. This is another good way of visualizing it. You won't be able to see it as large, but if I go to piano roll, this is a great way to visualize how those ranges are moving. Let's move this point from 0.1 to 1. You can see visually that over time we have at the peak of the wave and the trough of the wave, with the trough being the lighter blue and the peak being the darker blue. So this, again, is a great way to visualize this. And if I say change this to Perlin, we don't really know what's going to come next. It's kind of going from light to dark. If I actually get rid of this slow, it's probably going to be a better way to visualize it. There's nothing really specific that we know is going to come at a certain rate. It's staying blue for a while, slowing down, going white for a bit, getting darker blue, staying darker blue, and so it's kind of like almost like a humanized randomization that is really fun to play around with. So that can be a hi-hat for now. I don't think we need to do anything crazy here, but we could do something like add in this and get a bit of nicer pattern. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it as is for now. I'm gonna separate out these lines so they're a bit more readable, and then we can get onto our next track. Okay, so for me, what naturally comes next after a hi-hat is a good old open hi-hat, especially when it comes to house. So I am just going to play the open hi-hat sample. Don't love it. What I'm gonna do is set my drum bank to TR999 again. That is a lot better for me. I do not like how long it is, so I'm gonna use the decay function again to bring that back down. And of course, I've got the wrong pattern here, so I'm gonna put the square brackets in, multiply it by 2 to make it go a bit faster. I need it twice as fast. That's getting a bit closer to what I want. I'm actually just gonna arrange this with let's Berlin it. And we will do Berlin 0.05 I reckon, and we'll do slow times 8 so you can hardly really notice it. Sorry, Berlin range. It's way too short. That's better. Okay, so from here, what I can do, actually, I think this is pretty solid for now. We don't need to create a huge amount of variation. I kind of like, especially for this type of Chicago house type vibe, having something pretty consistent with the open hi-hat. So let's move to the next.